there is no Ponder and no Brainstorm in the deck. And that's awesome. As you maybe know, everybody tells me, yeah, you have the cantrips. Those become exactly the cards that you want, or the type of card.
It's like when Homer Simpson wants to buy something, and then he can buy this mystery box, and Marge says, "No, we wanna buy that," and he says, "No, the mystery box can be anything, even that we wanna buy."
Welcome to In Response, a Legacy podcast. Whether you're a dedicated player or just curious about Legacy, join us as we share ideas, discuss decks, and have some fun along the way.
So bannings are done, new meta on the horizon, so the next bannings are definitely up front. So we are gonna talk about the new meta that we're gonna have here. So what do you guys think in general about it?
Well, I have to say I love the banning so far. It is clear that the menace of Reanimator is gone.
Oh, wow.
It is pretty clear that we have now more or less an open field, open field. There's various explorations that we will talk about today, and I'm super happy with what happened.
I just want to shout out, we were right. Banning Troll of Khazad-dûm was the right decision, and yeah, so Microspore. I mean, that was an easy pick. I mean,
both decks are completely vanishing at this point. Yeah, so neither Eldrazi nor Reanimator here and there a little bit, but nothing serious.
And you know what's the best thing? I really dodged a bullet here. With Oops. Yeah. It had such a big, huge target on its back because a lot of other content creators were advocating for a ban. I mean, I'm totally biased here. My opinion is, yeah, simply, don't ban Oops, please.
We'll see.
Yeah, so let's jump in with the topic of biggest losers, as you already said. It's Blue-Black Reanimator, and let's specify it a little bit, Green and Red Eldrazi. Those decks were hit the most with the bannings. So let's focus on Blue-Black Reanimator. How is the deck currently? Is it still existing? So let's give us a talk, Philipp.
I mean, people are trying Oliphant, and also they're trying the Generous End in the slot of Troll of Khazad-dûm, but I don't think that's really the thing that they want to doing, because they don't fetch for uncounterable for Swamp. I mean, the mana base is now very, very fragile, whereas beforehand it was so solid.
Yeah, you cannot just compensate by having extra cyclers in your deck without any cost. The craziest list I saw at the beginning was like a direct swap of Troll into Streetwave. I don't know if you've seen this, but it didn't really. It was an experimental phase. I think, and also saw, like you mentioned, the Ant and also some Oliphant versions. Well, currently the kind of interestingly the to-go version is just having the Tomb package, Orcish Bowmaster, Tameo as like fair game plan, and I think one of Oculus.
Okay.
And one or two Murktides. So it just has randomly this Entomb package without any extra support.
You know what I have seen that they're playing instead of Troll of Khazad-dûm is Striped Riverwinder.
I have also seen it. This is like the cycling,
the 5/5 with hexproof.
Yeah, or ward. I don't really know.
6 or 7 mana.
Yeah,
but it cycles for 1 blue. It's basically a staple for modern living end. Yeah, living end.
Yeah.
I really like the thing they're doing with Blue-Black Reanimator. They try to keep it alive, but yeah, like we predicted, Reanimator is going back to its roots. It's going back to being a combo deck first and foremost, and so that's the place of Reanimator. That's why we like Reanimate in the format, and that's why banning Entomb or banning Reanimate is such a crap decision.
Yeah,
Yeah, the one card that I feel is missing with the open slot currently in Blue-Black Reanimator
Is that troll?
is it's the pre-modern staple in the Blue-Black Reanimator. It cycles for 2 for a swamp. And
Twisted Abomination.
Twisted Abomination. Well, it's legal. It's legal. But it cycles for 2, much worse.
And the card is much worse because it doesn't have evasion.
I mean, Oliphant is trample, am I right?
Oliphant has trample, yeah.
Generous End only has reach.
Yeah, and you get a food token, something like that. It's not really the biggest upgrade here, or the biggest threat right now. And Twisted Abomination is a 5/3. It's boltable.
Yeah.
But it has regenerate for a black. Yeah, which is kind of okay, but it's not really.
No, it's much worse.
It's great in pre-modern, to be honest. In pre-modern, there's also the Dimir Reanimator deck.
Yeah.
Kind of
Reanimator, yeah.
It's not good. It's supported by. It's first and foremost a Scythecat deck. It's basically the version that we had in Legacy in the area of Blue-Black from Reanimator. But let's jump onto the second deck that lost. Basically, it's core card. I kind of want to say it's the second card they lost since last year. The first one was at the first ban wave with Waxing Bauble back in December, and now we've lost our new Mycospawn and Green Eldrazi. The Mycospawn was the biggest reason to being green.
Yeah.
So what are the experimentation phase of the deck with this card now gone?
I think this deck now has, if we're speaking directly Eldrazi, it has 2 different paths now that brewers can choose. It's either you go into red with Eldrazi Linebreaker, which seems the most promising direction, or you can try to go and make it more Stompy-esque, like with the old Eldrazi Stompy lists. So therefore, not really It the Heralds the End, but more explosive starts, Eldrazi Mimic or something.
Yeah.
Maybe this kind of deck can put Eldrazi back on the menu or back on the map. So I think brewers will have to choose between these 2 directions.
There's actually already some results with the old Hot Notes here, Reality Smasher kind of lists that just want to curve Big Fatty into Big Fatty as an attack and without, I mean, it attacks on a different angle, but it's just, efficiently with your Eldrazi temples and your ancient tombs, you can power out these big creatures and then you want to overwhelm your opponent now with that. Some results you can already see it in that direction.
Are they including the Linebreaker?
Some, yes, I think.
I think they can, because the biggest question here isn't including Linebreaker or not. The biggest question is including It the Heralds the End or Eldrazi Mimic. So if you're going for a more grindier game, so more staying power, you probably want the Herald. And if you want to really punch through, it's probably Eldrazi Mimic, because you're losing a lot of gas if you don't have an broken start, basically.
But both of those versions would play the One Ring.
Good question. I think you can. Of course, there's mixed versions at the moment. It's not yet clear. And also to mention, just to give it a perspective, it's not super strong at the moment. It's just, it pops up here and there. Nothing serious at this point.
It's just existing and not influence the whole meta.
Yeah.
Like it did before.
Yeah.
So I think after talking about losers, let's talk about some decks that have a little bit of a resurgence, I want to say. The deck, or the archetype to be specific, that were most haunted by Micospawn, it's Control. And hell yeah, Control is back, baby.
Yeah, I'm
really happy that Control is back, to be honest. Because I always enjoy games against Control. Not because it's a good matchup or something, but also when I'm on Oliphant, Control is so awesome. Well, you know my jam, Peter. Yeah, as a combo aficionado, I mean, it's always we can do a life wise. Well, you're not wrong there. Oh. But in my opinion, it's vital for a great metagame to have such major archetypes like control existing.
Yeah.
The sheer existence of sowing Microspawn has pushed control out, and therefore this metagame was, although it was kind of balanced in my opinion, but it was very skewed, unhealthy. How do you ever want to call it?
It was just tailored around a certain type of game plan, which is just focused on the first 1 to 3 turns basically. And the play patterns are pretty similar.
The thing is, I want to chime in here. Today I read a Reddit post where they said, in contrast to other Magic the Gathering formats, Legacy and also Pauper, I have traditionally better answers than threats.
Yeah.
And this is something that we should have to keep in mind when choosing or when discussing bannings. So therefore, if we want to have a nice metagame or a healthy metagame, it's probably always great to like we did with Grief or with Psychic Frog bannings, to simply attack the threats.
Yeah, I think you can compare this pretty easily when you look at pre-modern. We have mentioned that before, which is perfectly a format where the answers and the enablers and everything around the supportive cards are much better than the threats. And I would say overall it just naturally leads to very pleasant gameplay, very much more interactive, and not so much involved of who has the better proactive creature, which is more or less in modern, I would say, something like that. And Legacy historically is that. The question is, of course, how you, with Modern Horizons, now how you want to shape that in the future. But I think right now we are dipping our toes a little bit back into this direction where we have more enjoyable play patterns.
Magic in general, or for Legacy specifically, should feel way more to be like a chess game than to be like a duel in the Middle Ages where you just try to put a bullet or an arrow between the head of your opponent. It should feel much slower as it was in
it's not about slower. I mean, it's because of my combo, but I don't think the key point here is that it should feel slower. The key point here is it should feel like you always have some sort of agency, some sort of interaction that you have to wrap your head around and that you have to think about.
And that's meaningful enough. You can choose such a strategy. And that's the reason why Control, biggest one probably Beanstalk, at this point is back somehow. That you get to this point where your interaction are meaningful enough that you can participate in the legs.
Yeah, in this format, especially your decisions matter again, because you don't lose like every single or every second game to at turn 2, because your opponent was just that more consistent and powerful enough that the control deck could meaningful set up.
And you kept a reasonable 6-card hand, for example, with a couple of cantrips and maybe a 4th even, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. In my honest opinion, Wizards should totally fuck off with these cast triggers.
Yeah.
Every time a card triggers on cast, it's just some kind of broken.
Yeah, and especially since like the cast triggers don't change or doesn't really meaningfully change anything for standard, I would say, or for draft and sealed product play. So
it's just that we have the big enablers that support those cards. Usually they're higher costed. If you think of Microspore, 6 mana is a lot to ask for when you speak of spend standard or something like that. But
no, in standard it's usually quite fine to go to 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
Because only that is currently is really, really slow.
And that's the thing. If it comes on turn 6 or so, Microspore is also fine. But not if it comes on turn 2 or 3. That's the point. You cheat on that you require so many like mana costs, and those cards usually come with that, and that's kind of the issue.
But even then, it would be kind of fine to have it as an ETB.
And fine,
not really as a
doesn't change
cast trigger.
I mean, I can understand Wizards if they say, now I don't want this as an ETB, because it can be flickered, it can be blinked, bounced and replayed. So
do you know the wording of the One Ring?
Tell me. I don't know it off the top of my head because I don't play this card.
If the One Ring entered the battlefield and it was cast, you gain protection until your next.
You can just make this cards who can.
And
it's a great class, to be honest.
And this was the reason why I said I don't want the One Ring in Painter, because I wanted to have the protection. So I didn't pre-order them for 20 years.
Because you wanted to welt them in, welt them out, welt them in, welt them out.
Yeah, I stacked today.
There is kind of
and maybe the welders were exactly the reason why they had the different.
Probably, yeah.
Sure. But before showing you how cool it would be to put in the One Ring and put it out, let's talk about Jointel.
Mm-hmm.
It's another winner of the metagame. I mean, it started, I think, a little bit prior to the bannings, but
the big reason is stock up. The big reason is stock up, and now the bannings for sure also. I think twofold, personally. I think Delaware is not super strong at this moment. We have more or less a blue-black tempo mid-range deck that is not super fast. I think it's still okay against Show and Tell. But Show and Tell has usually a good call, for example, in Wheel of Summer, can deal with Thoughtseizes and so on. And Stock Up is just a really nice, perfectly slotted card for this kind of deck with Ancient Tombs. Mm-hmm. It's super interesting at this time.
Yeah, to be specific, Stock Up, especially in this meta, with being kind of haunted more again with Orcish Bowmasters, it's really nice to have a cantrip that doesn't say scry 5, draw 2, but says choose 2.
Yeah.
So
true. Yeah, and
hell yeah, how nice would scry 5, draw 2 be?
It's slightly, in the context of Bowmaster, I would say it's slightly worse. But you can, in theory, see more cards. You can scry on to the bottom and
go 7 cards.
Yeah, that's so. Yeah, but Stock Up is super good, super fun. I think it's nothing broken. At this point, maybe because, and this is maybe something to mention, Blue-Black Tempo also tries this card to go a little bit bigger. Which is usually a good sign.
Yeah, I think there is currently like a little bit of a change up in Blue-Black Tempo. So they are trying to be a little bit of the early game version, and there is one that goes a little bit bigger, with more Kaitos and maybe even Stock Up to uphold the faster deck. So we're kind of in the paradigm again with going a little bit slower wins in the matchup.
Despite of it, what I would add to Show and Tell is how good the new card Midrange will be in this kind of deck. I think in both versions actually, because in the blue-green Omnitel you have green that enables the but it also enables with Tropical Islands. With Redmar, it comes untapped as well. So it's nicely fitting in both decks actually. And the nice thing is it doesn't let you you can make a sneak attack uncountable. You can even make any cantrips uncountable, and also of course it comes into play untapped and you can right away use it.
Yeah, that's a pretty huge upgrade from Boseiju, who shelters all.
Yeah.
Which comes into play tapped and only produces colorless mana, and you have to pay life, and you can use it to set it up, but it's very, very it's not great against waste time, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so Midrange Village is a lot better.
I mean, this is predominantly it was used against control decks, not so much against tempo because you don't have the time. Now I could see a world, because usually this land should be super main deckable in the mana base. It should be super fitting. You can just go in game 1 randomly if you have, I don't know, if you get to this point, play it immediately and make your show and tell uncounterable and win, even against Delver, for example. You don't have to worry about Wasteland, which is a nice thing.
Yeah, and the reason, as you said, like the old Boseiju was like easy because it's getting Wastelanded when it comes in. But the biggest factor is not really the Wasteland, in my opinion. It's like the telegraphing for the next turn.
Yeah, that's
And you can sandbag the land for a few turns because you need actually basically 2 blue mana to make the next one uncounterable.
Yeah.
So you have to spend a counterspell worth of mana up front because you need a blue source and
the 5 mana.
And then you need the 3 mana for
Show and tell.
yeah, show and tell. So it's kind of hard a little bit, stretch on the mana because 3 blue cards for the uncounterable. But yeah, I definitely see the card as a one-off in there, and we will see how the gameplay actually works out.
I've seen lists who play 4 actually. 4.
Is it not legendary?
It is, I think, not.
No, it's not.
Okay, if it's not legendary, it's a little bit bad.
I see like a 2 in the main deck and 2 in the sideboard.
Yeah, I've seen also something, but what I can get behind. 4 main deck is simply
No, I'm not main deck. I just meant in the 75.
I mean, it's especially good against control, not only because it makes the spells uncounterable, because usually those decks want more lands against control.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think it's not a 4th. It will not be. I think 2 is probably the maximum, because what you have to keep in mind is on turn 1, it doesn't make any mana. It's not a turn 1 blue mana source for Pond or Brainstorm that you might need. It only is like an effective mana after turn 1. Therefore, I don't think you would need 4 in the main deck at least.
Also, you have to keep in mind that people are trying out the new cards. So therefore, they put 4 offs in their deck to simply see them more often and to really test it out, which is exactly what they should be doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, or when you're testing in paper, say, I will try every single game with this card in my hand, so only draw 6 and put the card into your hand to see how the gameplay works out with the card. But now we're going to the police part. And what is the color of the police car on the lights?
It's blue
and black.
Where are you living?
In the night.
You mean if it doesn't show, if it's not rotating, if it's rotating, then sometimes you see the blue side, then you see nothing. And then
it's basically blue-black. Now we're talking about blue-black tempo. It's the cards, or it's the deck that it's currently on top of the format. We can tell for sure. The end of an era after Blue-Black Reanimator.
It's
and 10 something years of Delver.
Yeah, it's not full-blown it's not super tempo-ish kind of. It's not super explosive or like super fast as Delver. It is more mid-range actually. And especially when we include the versions that play stock up themselves also. I think this is actually a good sign and a good thing that I think this, when I look at Legacy and see that Blue-Black tempo or this mid-range deck is at the top and look at the deck list, I'm thinking, yeah, that's cool. I like it.
Yeah, that's true. I'm also totally here on the same boat. When that police deck is on the top of the metagame, it's probably a great metagame.
Yeah. You 100% want a fair deck with a little bit of a clock. That's what it does, yeah? And that's the deck. Even though the one card I dislike currently a little bit is Tamio, because it can get out of hand, but the card is totally fine in meta.
It's fine, yeah, really. It's super good. Obviously, yeah, you name it. It can get out of hand. But so far,
it's the one card that we have that can give you access to way more cards than you should have, but at the cost of mana. So it's definitely a card that is okay. And as Delver always was, it's centered around the best piece of card advantage besides the clock.
Yeah.
And so we move to Blue-Black Tempo now.
This is very, very nice, actually. So I'm happy.
I think the only thing that's really bugging me about the Mew is the price. Yeah, because I don't have them right now, and I need 4 if I want to play Stifle Knot in the near future again.
You need to wait for new Modern Horizon. There will be even more powered versions of Tatemio, and then you can...
Modern Horizons Masters.
Haste on attack draws you 2 cards.
Exactly, yeah.
God, I love Bowmasters.
Flash him in.
No, this is basically the changes in the metagame. I don't think we've talked about on the podcast already about the blue version of Painter. So maybe a shortened topic. Maybe I jump in.
Yeah, what do you think of this?
It's so nice
Because it plays blue and forces.
because of 2 reasons. Because they are missing from the deck, and that's really, really awesome. There is no Ponder and no Brainstorm in the deck, and that's awesome. Because as you maybe know, everybody tells me, yeah, you have the cantrips. Those become exactly the cards that you want, or the type of card. Because the Brainstorm or the Ponder will give you the land if you miss a land, or give you access to another combo piece. Yeah. No, they don't. They left you out in the rain.
It's like when Homer Simpson wants to buy something, and then he can buy this mystery box, and Marge says, "No, we wanna buy that," and he says, "No, the mystery box can be anything, even that we wanna buy." It's the same with Brainstorm and Ponder. It's like, yes, you can be anything, but simply play the card that you want to have.
Yeah, but yeah, the deck looks really awesome. We have the 4th Tamio, we have stock ups, we have the One Ring, we have Thoughtcast thing in the versions. Metallic Rebuke, making it
It's a great card.
return into Legacy, especially nice with Tamio because it gets the clue tokens. We have Emery in there. So Caracas is the card to look out for.
Bouncing Emery doesn't seem like a good plan for me.
No, from the opponent, because both of your cards are legendary creatures.
Yeah, but then you
get the mill again.
Yeah,
Emery. It's
okay,
not like
okay, but not the...
I would always just sort it, to be honest. I mean,
Sounds better, yeah.
a clean answer is the best answer.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. Well, reasonably cheap is the deck as well, I would say.
Besides Tamio and the One Ring.
Yeah, but you don't need CTs, you don't need any, like, you could go, and I've seen versions with Grim Monolith, but the most popular versions don't actually play that.
Yeah, I think this was in the early days. They played Grim Monolith and no Tamios, and now they're playing Tamios, but no Grim Monoliths.
Yeah, and yeah, a pretty amazing deck, I would say. It's super cool to see it also in the deck as a different pivot that the usual Painter deck has. I like it.
But I really want to know, because I don't think there are really new cards in this deck. Why hasn't it, besides stock up, is it really just stock up, or why hasn't it emerged earlier?
Yeah, I think stock up was the reason to look into the active. Maybe you've think a little bit back when we were talking about lists that could play stock up, and I said I really wanted to try mono blue Painter. My list was far off from where it is now. Because I went in from the show and tell perspective, but stock up was for me also the reason to look into mono blue, and also a little bit into blue green Painter.
I think this mono blue version that we have at the moment originates from the core a little bit to what we have here in the past in 8cast.
Yeah.
This is kind of the value engine in game, but right now I think what you cannot just play this version, because you would need some kind of combo in the metagame still to be competing. I think we are not yet there that you can just jam 8cast again as it is. And therefore, kind of And stock up, of course, because it with Ancient Loop it's super nice fitting. I guess this is how it emerged.
Yeah, especially since the draws are kinda disadvantageous currently in the meta.
And A-Cast was super bad against Bowman.
Yes.
Yeah, because you paid 7 mana or like 1 to cast your.
I paid every 1 mana to draw 2, and then I got pinked out by
Best, and then it got to pinked, so you had the artifact in your graveyard, and you could cast it again with Emery, and in this turn cycle you drew 4 cards, and your opponent got +4/+4 on a creature.
That's
Nice.
why 8cast opted for Patchwork Automaton.
Yeah, exactly.
To pressure through, and you also have the unblockable creature or
Kappa Cannoneer?
Kappa Cannoneer to push in the last few damages. But those are kind of old cards, and yeah, I really like
The old cards have been there, what, 2 years? 1 year? I don't know.
I think it's
More than 1 year. But yeah,
3 years?
something like that, maybe.
we are getting old, boys.
Who are you telling?
And with us getting old, boys, let's talk
About the good old taps.
Why we have to champ pre-moderns?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about a few decks that are currently on the lookout on the horizon, a little bit jamming up. And the one deck that I want to talk about, the oldest one, is Mono Black Midrange. And guys, tell me, it plays Helm of Obedience. Am I right?
I don't think so, no?
You're talking about Death. Death's Tender's Helm. I mean, that was a deck.
There's more Black Helm, of course, still, but that's the mid-range deck, you mean? Yeah, it's just value creature, basically. Everything that you have. Barrowgov is maybe the biggest reason for it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it plays Dark Ritual, but it does.
Yeah.
Just power it out there.
I mean, there are just not many better plays than putting in Dark Ritual Barrowgov turn 1.
Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah. Especially if you pair it up with a Fortis or with a Unmask. I don't know if these lists play Unmask, but
I think so. Maybe. Nah, I don't think so, no.
there would be enough black cards to support it, to be honest.
Everything is black besides the One Ring.
You could play Painter in it.
Then you
Mono Black Painter.
Then you could pitch your lands.
Mm-hmm.
Historic anecdote, I did it a lot with blue and Force of Will, but
Yeah, but we'll see how this deck is evolving. I don't think it won't be it's something that you,
yeah, it's really nice to see around. Besides the mid-range version, there's also the aggro version with the Stalker, Stalactite Stalker, and Necrogorg. So kind of neat to see them evolving a little bit on various axes, like in Blue-Black Tempo we have with the slower Stalker version and the little bit faster one. But let's talk about a card that was a long time favorite of Philipp.
What?
And it got evolved, it got better. It's now a sword. We talk about Core Steel Cutter, the new Pyromancer of the format.
Young Pyromancer was really my jam. But this card is nowhere near. I mean, it's a totally different beast.
It's better.
Yes.
But in the down.
Pour out for my boy, young Pyromancer.
outcast by some artifacts. I should. Or that's a bit. It's okay, yeah. I seen Delverless try it out, kind of. It powers up Monk prowess tokens on the second spell it casts, and I don't think it's super impactful in Legacy overall, but you see it somewhere.
I mean, you could try it in Jeskai's Stoneblade variants, because if you just tutor it up, it gets a lot better. Then you pair it with blue, you have enough cantrips to play 2 spells in 1 turn, so...
I mean, yeah, the thing is though, with Stoneforge, you know, when you look at this array of equipments that you have at this point, when you look at Kaldra, when you look at pre-war formal tear wear and so on,
and maybe even battle.
Better scars sometimes. Yeah, but in the middle it's
That's
it's sometimes difficult to
equipment, right?
justify going for like a 1/1 producing out.
I mean, it's. I know where you're getting from, but it's a totally different strategy because the one with Caldra, Batterskull, and all these things is going tall.
Pre-war for more rare net, not this is like the grindy.
Okay.
It gets back.
It's a value creature that you usually want to have against control decks and so on when you want to grind.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
think it really competes against this one. And then is the question, I think it's more like if it would fit into kind of a Delver strategy, but still there are, I think, better options.
like Sprite Dragon.
Sprite Dragon. Or this Iron Class. Have you seen this one? There's this Iron Class that also pumps a deck. A better young Reanimator.
You mean the Iconoclast?
Iconoclast, yeah, exactly.
I played this one in Arena.
Yeah, to be honest. Yeah, you can play it also in Delver, but
It's not good enough.
Yeah, but
well, there's still a questing dragon for the rock. Questing beast, questing druid,
Questing druid
for rock Delver at the value card, kind of.
Yeah, Seek the Beast really has shown its worth.
yeah, the card would be much more fitting in a really bow to the face kind of strategy with the lava darts and stuff like that.
I mean, you could simply jam 4 of them in burn and call it a day.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be worse, but don't know. I don't know if we can make burn worse, but
You can.
Yeah, I definitely think this card should suit more in a really into your face kind of deck. Lava darts, I think, should be included. And especially in this meta, how's it called? Price of Progress.
yeah, price is really, really strong right now.
But yeah, we will see how it develops. But now we come to the fancy little card that I purposefully mispronounce here, so that Philipp can correct me.
Okay, I'm doing my best right now.
It's Scythecat Cup.deck.
Scythecat Cup. There you go.
Not Scythecat, it's Scythecat. It's a new deck.
Not really new. I mean, it has been around since Jumpstart. It's a card from the
Jumpstart,
new Jumpstart with Magic not Origins. How's it called?
So the deck developed currently.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a distinct deck. Well, probably what came out of that is like the version that is not Cradle Control, but it's like the version that has this new white of the Reliquary and the Scythecat.
It's a little bit hard to read.
Yeah. This kind of is like a little bit different variation of kind of Cradle Control without the
Field Artisan. Or do they still?
the natural order. Just a white deck with couple of dogs, couple of Green Zenith.
And to clarify, this deck also plays an energy strategy. You have
No. That's Cradle Control right now.
we're at Cradle Control.
Yeah.
That's different deck. I think in Cradle Control it also sees play.
Yeah, it seems like a good to target.
So, but if you mention like this deck specifically for this card, I would say it's more or less this because it didn't super exist before. It's like just green, black, mid-range, whatever. I don't know. And it doesn't have. I think it only plays one Cradle to tutor it up, and that's it. And then you just have creatures and value cards, some Thoughtseize, and it's a mid-range deck kind of.
Cradle Control. Yeah.
No, Cradle Control is with natural order. It has the Traxa combo. It's a different deck.
So this is really, really more like a mid-range with white of the Reliquary.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, overlapping for sure, like probably 50 or 60% of the cards.
Yes.
But more like 80 or 90.
It's like I brewed a deck. I changed 2 cards. It's Delver.
It's like I think so, at least. Yeah, is the versions that I've seen. This also plays Fatal Push a little bit and Thought Seize and so on. Cradle Control, I think, is mostly just creatures and natural order into Atraxa.
Yeah.
Or what was it? Does it also play the
Craterhoof?
I don't think so, right? Or does it?
Yeah, when you play natural order, you play one Craterhoof.
Yeah.
Especially
Easy win because you need 3 creatures and you Craterhoof.
Yeah, this could be. Yeah.
But to come a little bit full circle back to the designated Scythecat Cup deck.
Yeah.
This one is the energy deck. You're playing Guide of Souls. You're playing Ocelot Pride.
No.
Yes.
I mean, no. Again, a different deck.
No, I mean exactly this deck.
Okay.
I'm talking about Green White Cats.
Okay. Yeah, I think the Green Black is the more popular version. Overall.
But this one is the fancy version.
That's the fancy version. Yes.
And we are here on the lookout for some fancy cats, because who doesn't like cat videos?
Yeah. Now I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, Ocelot Pride is a cat. Ayani is a cat.
But it doesn't play Adane.
Yeah, Chani is
No, it doesn't play a Chani. Because it's not red. Yeah. But you could play Naya. And put in some Goblin Bombardments. Bombardments. I'm sorry.
Bombardamente. No, but yeah, Scythecat. Let's see what the guys are brewing with it. Maybe we get some bigger results of the deck, and then we gonna talk about how it's cool to watch some cats grow big and bigger.
It's build your own Mario Large.
Yeah.
Like we said in the pre-talk.
Yeah.
It's pretty safe to say that in all kind of green, messy creatures decks that this card is involved.
If you play green, put it in. If you play elves, put it in. So Gino, that's for you.
Yeah.
Play 4 Scythecat Cup.
Yeah.
You will thank me later.
Yeah.
I mean, you can bounce your forest with Green Ranger to have another clan drop.
Yes, it works.
That's not bad.
Yeah, true.
So Peter, tell me, what decks do we have on the lookout?
Those Wormer decks. Or the guns. But the thing that you have on the lookout is the next.